I missed you.
I missed you too. What's up, man?
I missed both of you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a private moment about you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your OnlyFans is great.
Yeah.
It's starting to pick up.
Yeah.
Starting to pick up a little bit.
So what's up with the premium subscription? Because you show a lot in the basic subscription.
It's just pictures of Rob eating spaghetti. It's nothing but Rob eating spaghetti all the time.
All the time, yes. Just clumps of spaghetti.
Okay, so I'm gonna pay for that.
Funneling meatballs.
Yes.
Before we go down this road, because we always do,
We always do.
let's talk about last Sunday.
Oh
We had
yeah.
a good time.
So, for those of you who didn't make the show or weren't aware, last Sunday was our 5-year anniversary party at the hangar on the Hudson. And we took the approach where most everybody who works for this organization, or with this organization actually, is a musician or an artist in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
So we had all the people who contribute here bring their musical acts in, save one. One couldn't make it, they had family issues, and that's okay. And we put on an 11-band show
Yeah, that was amazing.
down
It
at the
was
hangar.
dope.
Yeah.
It was
totally.
in the genres that were represented. I mean, there was everything there.
Jazz and then metal and then
Punk,
punk,
garage,
everything.
Even a little hip hop in there.
hip hop, Americana folk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was exciting. It was wonderful. There's a lot of love in the room,
Yeah.
and I think it's a great way to start our next 5 years.
Yeah.
For real.
And I am a person who lives completely under a rock. They will both tell you I live completely under a rock.
Yeah.
I was there for 3 hours, and I had such a blast that I will probably be there for the next 3 hours for the next 5-year anniversary.
Well,
for the 10-year
you
anniversary.
have 5 years to prepare
I
yourself.
have 5 years to prepare for the 10-year anniversary.
Yes. Well, you also, you're an author. You brought some of your books.
Brought some
and
books.
You sold some books.
Made a little bit of a killing.
A couple books got stolen.
A couple books got stolen, which is, of course, that's the spice of this all.
It ain't rock and roll unless someone steals from the merch table.
Right,
I'm just
exactly.
letting you know that.
Exactly. But yeah, it was cool. It was such a good time, and the cool part for me was when I was selling my books, people were coming up and talking to me, and just we were having, even though there was a lot of music going on, I could hear people enough to know that like there was just like you said, so much love in the room. Everybody was just super supportive of everybody. Me and everybody else was super supportive of everybody else.
Yeah.
And it was just basically like going to one huge family reunion.
Not my family. We bring bats and guns and
Oh, yeah,
stuff. Yeah, but a somewhat fun, dysfunctional family reunion. How's that?
Right.
You know, I just want to take this time to thank everybody for the first 5 years of the support we've gotten, and promise you we're not going to change who we are. We're going to keep giving everybody a fair shake. You know, if you're a local band and you send something to us, it gets in the system. No matter what it is, every local that sends us something, at least one song will go in that system no matter what, because we don't believe in stifling anybody's creativity.
No.
And I say we a lot, and that was something that at the party that made me really uncomfortable. People kept thanking me for doing this. I don't do this alone. I've been lucky, like Liam came in on like day 3,
Yeah.
Rob, how long have you been here now?
Like 4.
4 years.
Wow.
Four of the 5
4
years.
of the 5 years.
4 to
Yeah.
5 years, yeah.
Ralph Renniv, right off the get-go, was there. He went his way for a while. I went my way for a while. We're hanging out again. We're working together again. It's been exciting. Fuzz, who's not been a part of this, but Ralph brought Fuzz into the family fold.
Yeah.
Our good buddy Frankie from Mirth Films.
Mm-hmm.
And, our partner in the Listen Up Awards.
Yeah.
And I tell you, Wild in the Trees Festival up in Lake George, get your bum there. Rob, you're playing that.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, it's exciting.
That's
Nice.
exciting, right?
Yeah, we're actually flying in Will, our bass player from Montana, to play the show. And it's just going to be a great experience. When I went last year, honestly, it was like the highlight of the year for me. I had so much fun. And my band didn't play. It was just, fun. So having my band play, but also my son, who's basically a pro skateboarder,
Nice.
because it's a music and skate fest. Well, he's in New York State again. He was stationed down at Fort Bragg in North Carolina, but he's in New York State, so he'll be there skating. So it's going to be probably the highlight of this year, too.
It's going to be the Smittix family reunion.
It really will be.
So are you playing in makeup or not in makeup this time?
I always do makeup. Makeup
Okay.
is
Are you going to eat spaghetti like your OnlyFans account? Or?
I'm thinking about it. It is debatable. Might be angel hair.
Oh,
Yeah.
you rebel, you.
Just get up there with a plate with the
Handful of
microphone
spaghetti.
right
Oh.
there, and just eat it. Don't even say just eat it. Like have people wonder.
Then you
what
go,
we're
thank
gonna
you,
do
good night, and walk
Yeah,
off
right,
stage.
yeah.
I tried Fusilli. Not saying that. It didn't work as well.
But no, I mean, Frankie's coming in. Frankie's actually coming to meet with us on Friday because
Yep.
we're starting to get the ramp up for the next Listen Up Awards.
Yeah.
We will tell you it's going to be at Putnam Place in Saratoga. Sly and everybody up there has been kind enough to host us. And we're excited because we try to move it every year. You know, Robin and Liam and I have talked about this extensively. And the idea is to showcase a different venue
Yeah.
every year. You know, last year we literally sold out the Cohoes Music Hall.
We sure did.
This year I think can be even bigger, especially because of the location. And it's, like I said, Cohoes is great, Lark Hall was great, Putnam's gonna be great. Who knows, maybe someday we'll end up at the Palace, I don't know.
Could happen.
That would be sick, but you know, so we'll have some announcements about that coming out very shortly, so pay attention. There's also a cool heavy metal, well, extreme music
Extreme
award
Music
show
Awards.
coming up January 13th at Empire Live. Mike Valenti's been spearheading that with Ralph and Fuzz and Brandon from 518C and myself, and we're giving this genre their due.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, you know, it's first of all there's so many subgenres, and those guys really know their stuff. But this is great because this is a scene that doesn't get the love they deserve. And you want to talk about loyal fans?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, it's incredible. So that should be a lot of fun, and that's going to be great. So, you know, there's no reason for anyone to feel slighted anymore. There's enough going on and enough outside of the you know, old boys club
Right.
Yep.
for you to really embrace this area's music community.
There's gonna be a lot of surprises at that one too. I've been
Oh
hearing.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Mike is hinting at some very big stuff. So
That's cool.
check your calendars now for that. It's going to be cool.
You're not doing anything else. Be there.
Right.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
January.
It's
for,
January.
you
Yeah.
know, and it's right after Christmas. So you know, take the $5 your grandmother gave
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
That's good
yeah.
for a PBR. Pony up for a ticket and get down there.
For real.
You know, and wear a black T-shirt because we're all gonna.
Yeah.
You have to. It's a must.
And have your face blown off by some great metal and punk and hardcore. It's going to be very cool. And then, of course, March. We haven't released the date yet, but March is going to be the Listen Up Awards. And we're going to do it on Sunday afternoon. It's going to be a lot of fun. So there's a lot to put in your calendar.
There's always
That's
something
right.
good from us on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah,
Yeah, always.
I love matinees.
Yeah.
I also want to talk. We talked about the festival coming up with Frankie. There's one this weekend up there,
Mm-hmm.
Rock the Lake,
Rock the lake.
and it's going to be a lot of fun. Get out there. It's a lot of tribute bands. It's 80s and 90s type stuff. It's going to be a hoot. You can go up there and see a motorcycle autographed by Brian from AC/DC.
No way.
Brian Johnson. It's going to be sick. So get
Nice.
up there for that. And Rob and I went to a lot of festivals this summer. The free ones. Rocking on the River, Alive at 5, and other stuff throughout. And did I say winter?
No, you did not.
I didn't. Okay, this summer. And I wanted kudos to Keith and to Olivia and these people in Vito who puts them on all over the county, over in Rensselaer County. Thank you guys. That's God's work you're doing there. And a lot of times it's you're not thanked enough, I would think. Like look what Olivia did for us at Pig Out.
Yeah, Pig Out was great. Highly successful. But the thing is, and I keep going back to this, but we have so much going on in this area. Other areas should be jealous
Yeah.
Poughkeepsie has nothing on this area.
Hudson, even Woodstock. I'm sorry.
Nah.
You know,
they got
Woodstock.
nothing.
It's got the mystique.
Yeah. That's
By
all
the
it
way,
is.
it was not in Woodstock.
Not even
Just
close.
Not even. Yeah. It's over
Hours away.
Bethel. But you know, like going back to Pig Out, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had Grandstand Jockeys,
Yep.
Black Mountain Symphony,
They killed it.
and Berkstar, right? And they all
Crushed
three completely three different genres.
Yep.
The crowd ate them all alive, loved them all, but the weather was crappy, or it was supposed to be crappy. Olivia grabbed the credit card, went down to Hatchet Hardware, and bought giant tarps
They were gigantic.
to make sure everybody could play.
Yep.
That's what a promoter, a festival, you know, that's what a bid person or one of these people, this is what stuff these guys do in the back, you never really see.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I'm gonna rage a little bit here, not rage, but gush a little bit. There's the word.
Gosh.
About the three bands, and you know, Grandstand Jockeys just came out and punched.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I don't know I don't know what genre you would call them.
I mean, they're rock and roll, really.
Yeah, and you know, there's some metal overtones here and there.
Yeah.
And then you know, Black Mountain Symphony doesn't play out a lot.
No,
in this area.
not as much as they should.
Right.
But I kind of like that because then it's a breath of fresh air. It's a surprise when they come back. And what's really cool is they alter their sets depending on what they're playing. So they look at the other groups that they're playing with or the crowd that they're playing to. Because, I mean, they'll be a Celtic band and they'll play a Celtic festival.
Yeah.
Or they'll play something, you know, it's family friendly. They'll be like the slow kind of band. Or they figured, hey, we're playing with some rock and rollers, and they, even with a violin and keys and all that, they had some heavy parts in there.
Yeah, you know, a violin doesn't make you a soft band. I mean, one of my favorite
Doesn't.
bands, Blue October, the violin guy, he's also a multi-instrumentalist, but Randall Hosey, he propels that band sometimes with the violin.
Right.
And they are a rock and roll band. So, and then of course Berkstar.
Yeah.
You know, Tony's great, and he brought, it was some hard blues, dipped in some Hendrix, bounced all around. It was an incredible, incredible day. So that's enough about that.
Yes.
We
So-
met Liam.
Yeah,
You've been quiet, so I'm going to put you on the spot.
sure.
Tell us about your last book.
My last book or my current book?
Your last book. We're not going to tip
Okay.
it.
My last book is called Art Beyond the Aether. It's basically about these two kids that are, they're both punk, they're in a punk band called Permasol, and they're both clean 30 days. So like the girlfriend's clean because she got clean, and the boyfriend, who's kind of the main character, he got clean because his girlfriend was clean and he didn't want to not be clean when she was clean. So he's kind of like, yeah, whatever about it, but she's kind of like really holding on to that coin. And they go through this process where they just kind of start out, hey, let's go to this warehouse. And then they go into this warehouse and they realize that it's kind of a journey through art, through the different kinds. And I think what we're talking about here with the way this scene is in Albany, how organic and how grassroots it is, the book kind of explores that through having like a homelessness area, a homeless encampment that has found its voice in music. So they play music, and then there's a lot of like, without giving too much of it away, there's a lot of like metaphysical kind of symbolic kind of stuff that they go through.
Symbology. I hate that
Symbology.
word. I hate that word. It's symbolism, God damn it.
yeah,
Right?
symbolism.
The book's out there, though. I'm
Yeah, it is.
almost done with it, and I'm loving it.
It's an interesting book. I'll tell you, all right, so to tell you the real story of this book without telling you the story of this book, buy it because you're going to love it anyways. But I write novels, and this is not a novel, it's a novella, a very small novel. So I write them, and I'm always like, well, what's the agent gonna like? Because when you write a novel, your idea is to, okay, well, I'm gonna send query letters, basically begging letters to literary agents, and hopefully they look at your letter.
Not much different than sending your tape to a label if you're a
Yeah,
fan.
exactly,
Right,
like
yeah.
sending your tape to a label. Probably except even being harder, like, cause
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they just go through your letters and they look at, if you have like one little punctuation mistake, they throw you away. Like they find reasons to throw you away. So it's like you're constantly writing, oh, can I be good enough enough for the agent? Can I be good enough for the editor? This book that I just told you about, I was like, no, screw all that. I'm just gonna write the book that I want to write. I'm not gonna send it to an agent. I'm not gonna send it to an editor or publisher. I'm just gonna write this book that I like and let it be fun and publish it myself and sell it myself. And that's kind of what happened.
Now, is there a market these days, you think, for adult versions of choose your own adventure type stories? Because I love those.
I'd be
books
honest
right
with you, if I found a good one, yeah, dude, no doubt.
Well, you know,
people love
I'm
that.
thinking about
They
it.
even do it now on video, right? If you've watched Black Mirror,
Black
Yeah,
Mirror,
yeah.
right, at the end of whatever season it was,
Yep.
I did do that.
they had that you could pick the end on as you went, and there was like 1,000,000 combinations or something.
Yeah,
There was
such a
no
good
way you could ever
episode.
actually
Yeah.
get them all.
That was such a good episode. Yeah, I remember that.
That
was
would be
awesome.
fun. Yeah, remember Goosebumps had that when you were a kid,
Yeah.
right? That would be a lot of fun.
It would be. Like, you know, the main character. Say the main character was Liam, you know, and it's like, you know, turn to page 17 if you want to, you know, see this girl naked. Or
I
turn
kinda
to page
wanna
22
write
if you're
this
going to go
book.
There you
gay.
go. So put that in the back burner behind
Yeah, I
the
kind of
working.
want to write that book because it's got to be fun. All you're really doing is just you're plotting courses in real life, and then you're just like, all right, well, I want to get a guy that gets caught in Leisure Suit Larry, and if you're too young, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Turn to page 22 if you don't use protection.
Yeah, you know. Yeah.
If you don't, then it's a trip to family court.
Right.
You know?
right.
Yeah.
You turn to page 27, and it's the start of an entirely new book.
Yep. But that could be fun. I've always
That
thought
would be
about
cool.
that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I don't know. They may have books like that because
They might.
we can't be the only ones who ever thought of this. You know what I mean? They probably do have that, but
Now, there's nothing new under the sun.
No.
It's
No,
just
it can't be.
how you approach it, you know? So,
Yep.
but that would be fun. I mean, but this book, I've been reading it the way I read Naked Lunch,
Mm.
which is, you know, burrow.
Yeah, it's
It's-
good to read it that way.
right. Naked Lunch didn't hold together as a narrative because the way it was very scatological. So that's my big word of the day, by the way.
Scatological.
Yeah, look that one up.
All right.
That's another word for what I'm going to use in my next book, in my current book.
There you go.
Actually,
I haven't used it yet.
So I would just open Naked Lunch up at a point
Yeah.
and read, like 10, 12 pages, close it, open up again and read 10.
like the Bible.
I
I mean, that's how you do it.
It was a little less rapey than the
Yeah,
Bible.
well, that's what you read in the
You
Bible.
know, that Old Testament, man, that's some hardcore
Oh,
Is
shit.
it though? Yeah.
I mean, Yahweh, dude, you're badass. There should be t-shirts, right?
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, dude, seriously, like you read stuff in the Bible and you're just like we talked
Well-
about. I mean, just the idea. Can you imagine, like in our day and age, like you just go to church with a goat, you
Cut its
just
throat?
cut its throat. Like people. Would
Well,
be so much-
listen, I'm sure there is some church
Oh,
where
yeah,
they
yeah,
go
yeah,
to church
yeah,
with
yeah.
goats and chickens. I mean,
Oh, sure.
But how much hardcore?
they handle snakes.
How
Something
much,
for
how much
everyone.
more hardcore would our general population be if that's literally what you did every Sunday is you go and kill things and just like destroy things?
We are not condoning or
No,
encouraging
no,
such
no.
behavior.
Just that it was in the Bible.
It was, yeah.
But a real good book idea right now, which I think has a real good market, and we were talking about this earlier, but how about basic facts for the next generation?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
little things like, how many seasons are there? You know, real simple things.
This is where we go into old guy world.
I
Old
got it.
guy world.
Like,
Yeah.
name 3 countries you were telling me about.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, these kids are not that bright.
But you know, here's the thing: is that these younger kids could probably also write a book for like boomers and say like, this is how you turn your Wi-Fi on. So like, it
Right,
could go
but you know
both
what?
ways.
Not a boomer.
Not a Gen
Yeah,
X.
Not a
You
boomer.
know, this is
Gen
a
X.
Gen X panel.
Gen
and,
X panel. Yeah.
you know,
Represent-
Rob and I were talking about being Gen X. We're kind of blessed in a way because we were completely neglected growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And we straddle the old world with no technology and
And
the new world with, listen, we may not be amazing at it,
But we're good.
but we're good enough to get by. Just like, you know, we weren't amazing at living, but we could make our own dinner at 8.
I watched this meme and it said Gen X was the ones that were 30 by the age of 10 and are 30 at the age of 50.
Yeah.
And that's us. That is pretty much us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So we matured too quick and then never matured past a certain
Yes.
age.
Pretty
30
much.
was a wild year. I remember turning 30. because it was the first year like the old guys I hung out with, right? Who were all in their 50s. Because, like Jimmy Barrett's, my closest, longest friend for a long time. And he's 21 years older than I am. So I go to bar with these guys, and even though I had a wife and 2 kids, a couple cars, a couple businesses, you were still a kid till you turned 30. They didn't give you any room. So when I turned 30, it was like, okay, now you're a man. I thought the armpit and pubes got me there at one point,
Right.
but no. I thought the 2 kids in the mortgage, no, you're 30. It's kind of, I was waiting, for a blood ritual or some kind of thing.
No, I agree. I had a kid at like 21, and I was a responsible parent, but I didn't really feel like an adult until I was 30.
Yeah.
Well, they say that because they used to think that your brain developed at 18. No, like it finishes developing at 25. So then your brain finishes developing, and then you have 5 years to deal with some stuff. Then you're 30. Then you're an adult. Yep.
Well, don't trust anyone over 30. Fuck
Yeah,
that.
well,
Don't trust anyone under 30.
Yeah, definitely. Just don't trust anyone.
Don't trust anyone. Exactly.
Right.
Speaking of which, you were saying you had some information.
Oh, I have some
to
information.
share.
I was reading an article today, and this just blew my mind because I had this concept, and I think a lot of people have this concept, that our problem on the globe is that we are overpopulating this son of a bitch. But this article said, no, that's the opposite problem. We're not actually overpopulating. What's happening is we are going to be very soon underpopulated. And the reason they said this is they said, first off, look at China. China has a one-child policy. They have one child to replace 2 parents.
Right, but they've recently rescinded that.
To 3.
To three, yeah.
But it's not soon. They said it wasn't soon enough.
Right.
Basically, by 2050 or by 2030, China's going to start down. They said China's going to implode by like 2030 or 2050 because their population isn't going to be able to sustain itself. Too many people are going to get older, not enough young kids, not enough working people to take care of the older people. They said Europe, Asia, and North America are all going to have the same problems.
We're already having it. The birth rate's down. I mean, I know a lot of younger people who, I don't want kids, I'll just own pets. And that's great. And I got pets, okay?
Right.
But they're a 10 to 20 year, depending on what type of pet it is. And hell, if it's a gerbil or a hamster, 6 weeks.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we got a whole pet cemetery in the backyard with the kids' disposable pets over the years. There's fish and just dig a hole, drop it in, all good. But they're doing this, and the people who are avoiding having kids, literally, there's not enough to support. That's why some of these programs aren't working, because they expected the younger people to be the same amount as the ones getting old,
Right.
and it's not going to happen. So a lot of the developed countries are aging out, so to speak.
Yeah. So that's crazy, because you always think, the 8 billion people, the population is it's too much. No, it's actually gonna be not enough very soon.
Well,
Interesting.
you even see this, and this is going to take it to a little lighter end. Like we're all on Facebook and social media because it's
Where you gotta be.
Yeah, and rock stars are dying, right?
They are.
And they're 77, 80 years old. They've reached life expectancy.
Yeah.
And let's face it, if you're a rock star and you live to be 80, you're well past life expectancy.
What's Keith Richards now?
Immortal.
Immortal.
Yeah,
There can be only one.
Yeah.
It will be Keith Richards and a sword at the end, like in Highlander. It'll be him and Gary Busey fighting to the death on
Oh my God.
the Mount on Megiddo.
Adam and Eve were going to his concert.
Yeah, and he was old.
And he was arguing.
But these people are dropping. Then everybody's like, "Oh my God!" They picked Tony Bennett, 90 7 years old, 98 years old.
It was up
Send
there.
off.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
like-
good.
Gonna miss his work, but it's still around.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's gone sucks.
Honestly, most people that like Tony Bennett like stuff he's already done.
Yeah.
It's not like they're
Right.
gonna miss the new
Although
stuff.
I won't lie to you, the stuff he did with Gaga was
Yeah,
amazing.
that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave her a legitimacy she wouldn't have had otherwise.
For real.
And she's an incredible actress too. Okay, but I digress. But these people act like it's a shock. I mean,
Yeah.
they're old.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We only got a few trips around the sun here, and it was their turn. It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And all the good music's gonna all go away. Give younger artists a listen.
Yeah. Give it a shot.
It may not be the 1-4-5 blues-based stuff you're used to. holy shit, you could expand your mind and find something new.
They said that after a certain age, people just turn their minds off of new stuff, but it's like, you don't have to. That's not required.
No, it's in that list. We all have our favorites we go back
Yeah.
to, right?
90s.
Yeah, but I mean, mine's all over the place. But every day I want to hear something new.
Yep.
That's the best part of working here, is we get submissions from all over the world
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Lately, a lot from the UK.
I listen
Yeah,
to
the UK's been
lot.
big lately.
Yeah.
And you know, we sit here and Rob and I go over them.
Yep.
And dude, when I interview these people, like half the time I'll listen to them on their Bandcamp or whatever. And if I like what I hear, I buy the album right away. And I put it in my car and I listen to it for a month. You know, you've
Oh, yeah.
heard some of my stuff. I just
Yeah.
listen to it for endlessly.
Liam will have a CD per month.
Per month, yeah,
Per
one
month.
CD per month.
Exactly.
I want to memorize everything.
It's funny, my CD player in my truck died, my pickup truck, about 2 years ago. And then the radio died shortly thereafter. So I listen to RadioRadioX on my phone, download the app.
Easy to do.
Yeah.
And
There's nothing better.
but sometimes I just listen to nothing.
Sometimes you need
But I
that.
miss having the CD, you know, and that's something else too. Okay, I'm glad vinyl's back.
Yeah.
I get 25 to 3,500 albums sitting at home, and I go through them every now and again. But then they killed the CD.
Dad.
That sucked, yeah.
If you're a local band, what was a better way to put your music out than a CD? This is like, you know, they talk about, oh, they're just not something not popular. Bullshit, you're strangling
Yeah.
everything. Local, what do we do? Put cassettes out? Okay, I mean, I know it's
Right.
happening,
Yeah.
but cassettes, and I'm going to say this and upset people, they sucked.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did.
They got eaten. They sucked.
They started, that squeaking they used to do when the
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
dried out, you know, you had to have a pencil at hand at all times in case you had to
All times.
rewind it, you know.
Yep.
Cassettes sucked. As a matter of fact, I would say cassettes were worse than 8-tracks.
Yeah. I'd say so.
At least
CDs.
8-tracks were like built like trucks.
Mhm.
You plug it in, yeah, your favorite solo will get cut off in the middle and switch tracks, and that always sucked.
Yeah, it did.
But it was a solid piece of tech. It was solid.
It was.
You know, so I predict that CDs will be back within 3 years. And just like vinyl, because like I went to one of the big box retailers and they have a record section. And there's records like, you know, Journey Escape for $31. Okay,
Yeah.
when it was released, that was a $12.99 LP.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Okay, and then shortly thereafter was $6 or $8, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me that the pressing is that much better than it was then.
Yeah.
And
It's gotten out of hand.
Another thing I read today was all these people in all these different industries telling you the tricks. And all I left at the end of this whole thing, I was like, wow, corruption is really just the fabric of all this stuff. Like, it's not, I mean, everywhere someone can screw you and charge you more money, they will.
Oh, yeah.
Like, at every single turn, if there's 3 points at which something can trade to someone's hand, it's going to be 100% markup at each point. It's like, wow. I mean,
Yeah, but you
$31.
can't sell. I get it, but it's ridiculous too, because especially since it's Journey.
Right.
Talented cats.
Oh yeah.
You know, Neil Schon, one of the most underrated guitar players in the world.
Yep.
But, and when you say but, you negate everything that came before it. It's just not for me, man. It's just, I get people who adore it, but it's
Yeah.
not me.
Well, the problem is that it's for most people.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And so are the Kardashians.
It's for people
Yeah.
willing to pay $31.
No, well,
for pressing.
there's always been people willing to pay up for stuff, you know, and I got no problem with someone putting a margin on something. Never have. Hell, we sell advertising.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean,
So the reason I said that, so this is maybe
because
like-
you're a commie with a
because I'm
Bernie sticker
'cause
on
I'm a
your car.
commie,
Oh my
Yeah. No, this is why I said it wasn't like every part of that, but they said that something that cost a medical device that cost $700 to make was sold to the distributor for $3,000.
Yeah.
Was sold to the hospital for $7,000. Was sold to the consumer from the hospital for $10,000.
Right, okay, so it costs $700 to make. Okay, that might be the actual parts and what have you. But you had to pay the labor to put it together.
Okay.
Then you
No,
gotta
that
pay.
it just said 700 to make the whole, not just the
I would
parts.
wanna know, I'd rather know, because this is internet.
But
Everything's-
1,000% markup,
But let
how
me
do you
fin-
justify
but
1,000%?
You don't, but let me finish what I'm saying here, okay? And everything you read on the internet is true, Abraham Lincoln said that.
That's right. Yes, he
Um,
did.
But then you gotta ship it.
Yeah.
You know, it's gotta be tested possibly. All that costs money too, like, you know, when I had my retail, two retail business, the bar, believe it or not, people, bars are a retail business.
Yeah.
And that's why you pay as much for a beer sometimes as you would for a six-pack. You're paying for, you know, you pay for the lights, you pay for the insurance, you pay for the employees, you pay for the cable, you pay for the ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, GMR, and Sound Exchange licenses. You pay for
Yeah, that's-
the replacement of stools, there's toilet paper, there's sinks,
Mm-hmm.
there's toilets that compress, there's, you know, compressors in the coolers. There's a lot that goes into this.
Sure it is.
And if you paint it with too broad and too simplistic a brush, now what Liam is saying, markups can be ridiculous
Sure.
and they can be unfair, but what are you gonna do?
The point of what I'm saying is it wasn't just this one medical thing. It's like they showed, all these people were like, I'm in this industry and this is what they do to screw you. And it was like, there were
Yeah.
like 50 of these different things. I'm in this
Sure.
industry, this is what they do to screw
Sure.
you. I'm like, how can it possibly be? And that's what I was saying about the $31 for pressing. They don't need to charge anywhere
No,
near
that's
that.
exactly, there's no need, because you can't tell me vinyl costs any more now
Mm-hmm.
than it did. And if you ever get a record and you'll see like looks like a piece of paper stuck in the grooves,
Yeah.
that's because they melted down other records.
Oh.
And they
Oh,
didn't
okay.
peel the labels. Oh yeah, you see this
Oh,
one on the
wow.
record store. And they didn't pull the labels off.
Wow.
And sometimes you'll get that in the middle of a brand new record.
No kidding.
Now I'm sure that somebody from the record pressing industry hopefully will see this and get pissed off and send me a hate mail. Art at RadioRadioX.com.
We have no sponsors in the record pressing industry right now.
Yet.
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 Yeah, we want some.
We want one, so you can defend
Someone that
yourself.
doesn't put paper in their, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pirates Press.
Pirates
Irish
Press.
Press, there you go. But, you know, I'm just saying, it's, you know, it can't cost that much. You know, granted with inflation, everything costs more, but still.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they know people, again, this is the thing, what the market will bear. They know people will buy it. They know people will pay that much.
Yeah, I understand getting your value for your product, but, and we're kind of on the same page there. I'm probably a little farther along going, this is why,
Mm-hmm.
because of first-hand experience,
Yeah, yeah.
but you get your value.
Yeah.
But your value is that you can deliver on what you promised.
Yes, yes.
You know,
Sure.
that's the difference.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I just could imagine all these local bands that wanted to go out there, they spend all this money on getting vinyl, and then they sell a few, but they have just, 1,000 records in their attic for the rest of forever.
yeah, well, we pressed the 45 early on with the sausages.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got boxes of them at home. I still got 2 full boxes, probably 200 of them left. You know,
Start
meanwhile,
selling those when we go
yeah,
out.
we were selling for $1 a piece at one point.
Sure.
So
You
what
know?
I would love to see happen is the same thing that happens with writing. Because like my books, right?
AI takes over?
AI will take over. No, my books, if I want to order one book to send to somebody, it's called print on demand. I mean, you put the order in, they print it, they
Yeah.
send it. So I would love to see a band be able to be like, okay, well, we're going to do an album. So they send all the music files, and it's basically pressing on demand. And I would love to see that because then all kinds of bands.
So
would
if
have
somebody's
albums.
watching that out there,
Yeah.
and you got an idea and you think you can make that work at an affordable rate,
Shark
there you
Tank.
go. Hmm?
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right? You know
Press
what I
on
mean?
demand.
Press on demand, yes.
And immediately Mr. Wonderful will try to get you a license to China, because that's what he does with everything.
Of course.
But print on demand, that's how we do our merch.
Yeah, right.
You know,
So
because
that'd be
inventory costs money.
awesome. Oh, yeah.
And people, I've seen this over and over again, even when I was in retail, when I had the record store. You fall in love with your inventory. Look what I've got.
Yes.
And yeah, great. You
Yep.
got it. But you gotta sell
You
it,
gotta sell it,
otherwise
yeah.
it's just possessions,
Right.
And you get that possession mindset as someone who's retailing, you're going broke.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, years ago, we had the first record store, there was a shoe store that went out next to us. Man, they had stuff going back to the 50s. And this is before vintage was a thing.
Right. Right.
If vintage had been a thing and somebody had walked in there, they would have made their entire life just on they had Beetle boots.
Oh, wow.
I mean, weird sizes, but they had them.
Right, right.
And somebody would have to have this stuff. They had the saddle shoes from the 50s. They had platforms from the 70s. I literally had thigh-high platform boots I bought from them, with the sausages when we first started playing out.
I can see you wearing
And they were so dry that like the first show, both heels broke off in the middle of the show. But so what?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it doesn't matter, yeah.
So don't fall in love with your
different.
inventory.
Yeah, because I bought like $300 worth of books, to make sure I had enough to send to people.
Sure.
I sold 18 books at the party, so I still have like a ton of books, and I'm hoping that I'm gonna strategically. I'm not ordering any new ones. I'm gonna strategically
Gonna
try
use
to
some
sell
strategery.
some strategery,
Yeah.
but then inventory. It's inventory. It's a box that's sitting in my office that I want to get rid of, because if I get rid of it, it means I have money.
Well, like, go make a shameless plug here. Go to our page, go to our store page, buy our merch. People are saying to me, can I swing by the station and pick up this shirt? I'm like, no.
We're not a clothing store.
Right,
I
Yeah,
can't,
for
you know,
real.
We're not Deb.
it's not, Deb,
Deb.
wow, you're dating, we're not Denby's, you're dating yourself.
Yeah.
We're not the Carl Company.
Kresge's.
Kresge's, wow, it's the predecessor to Kmart.
Yeah.
Ames.
But, Ames, Barker's, we could go down
James
there.
Way.
Cowboy.
Andy's Sporting Goods in Troy, Colonial Army Navy, Preston's
Oh,
Army
yeah.
Navy. But people, I would love to have them come by and put the money in hand,
Hell yeah.
but it's cheaper, better for them and better for us to do print on demand. We don't make
Absolutely.
we don't make anywhere near the money we would, but I also don't have to tie it up in inventory.
That's the thing. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want inventory.
Because honestly, like when I was trying to sell the books, and I am still trying to sell the books, I will sell a book, put it in a mailer, which costs a certain amount of money, maybe like 25 cents if I get a ton of them. Then I gotta take it to the post office. That's $4 just to mail it to Rotterdam. Just to mail it locally, $4. So like by the time you get it, like I have to make really no money, or I have to charge you more.
Yeah, you're making like $2-3.
Yeah.
And I say tree like they say in
But I can make more than that. I can make $4 or $5 if you buy it on Amazon, and it will show up to your house the next day, free shipping.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, go out and get yourself a boombox with a CD player,
Yeah.
or find an old CD player. You all have turntables now, right? Which means you all have receivers.
Yep.
So get a CD player, attach it with the receiver to the turntable,
Yep.
and when you go see a local act, pick up a CD, pick up a T-shirt. Hell, if they're selling stickers for
They
$1,
need that.
buy a sticker,
Yeah.
because no one's making anything on streaming services.
No, nothing.
Half the stuff's available for free on YouTube too,
Yeah.
Yep.
so they're not making anything there.
It's all merch. It's all merch.
It's all merch. Even the big bands now, they have to tour.
Yep.
Yep.
And we can argue about
And
that.
they're like Keith Richards having to tour because
Well, yeah.
well, they don't really have.
Perfect example. Okay, Taylor Swift just did the tour. The tickets were outrageous. She's got another one going off. Everyone's
Yeah.
already gaga over it. Argue the merits of her as an artist if you want. I don't care. But tickets have gotten to the point where literally it's a month's worth of groceries for a ticket.
Yeah.
That's unsustainable.
No,
Her
it's
show
ridiculous.
actually, I read this. Her show caused seismic activity. Like that's how big it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. It actually helped.
Seismic activity.
It actually helped prop up the economy this year. In America.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
That is insane.
But then you get okay, and her tickets are 7, 8. Someone paid $21,000 for a ticket. Ridiculous. Okay. I went to see The Cure. They beat up on
Yeah.
Ticketmaster,
Gotta love that.
and
Yeah.
the most expensive tour thing ticket was $150. Okay, that's right up front. You expect to pay,
Sure.
but they had them as cheap where I saw them as $35 in a lawn,
Love that.
and the T-shirts are $25.
That's good.
So if they can do it, Taylor can do it.
Yeah,
Bruce can do it. Bruce Springsteen's the biggest disappointment in my life.
Yeah. For the yeah.
He went from being, a bus driver's kid or whatever, grown up in Freehold in Asbury Park, New Jersey, a starving musician, to becoming this guy that looks like Woody Allen in a cardigan, walking around, spouting a bunch of political bullshit and
Yep.
charging $5,000 a ticket. You know what? Bite me, Bruce.
Well, all these musicians need to stop with their political nonsense because just play the music, shut up, People
Yeah.
paid to see a show.
Right, or do what Bob Dylan does, right? Bob Dylan writes a song, it's a political song. They ask him about it.
Right.
They ask him about it, and he goes, "Well, is that what you took away from it?
Yeah, right.
Put it
right,
out
right.
there, do the song, move on."
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
And you probably don't have to sell your soul like he did.
No, he got the good deal though.
Yeah.
You could.
He got the good deal, yeah.
You could if you
You
wanted
got a much
to.
better deal than Kanye.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Robert Johnson.
Oh yeah. And,
I think Kanye, like, he had to put a deposit in hell.
Tommy Johnson was the original, right?
Robert Johnson.
Robert Johnson.
I don't know.
What?
It was. I think it was Tommy Johnson was the original. They're unrelated.
Okay.
With the Crossroads, it was Tommy Johnson.
No, there was Robert Johnson, 27 Club, Crossroads, Soul to Soul, and the Hellhounds came and got it. Look it up.
Google it.
Tell us if we're wrong.
Yeah.
They're both
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
They're
all
both
They're
right.
both right.
But he was the original. We should do that for one of these videos. We should find some Crossroads.
I don't want to
No.
do a crossroads.
You can do it. I'm not doing it.
No, that'd be fun.
I don't play with the occult stuff. I don't play with religious stuff. I just live in the now.
I like to play around with that stuff.
I think this is interesting. I saw again. I do nothing but get on the internet because I live under a rock. I saw this meme where it had all these blues.
Oh my God, that means you're Patrick Starfish from
I am
SpongeBob.
Patrick Starfish from
That's who
SpongeBob,
you are.
yes. This is what I really look like without the makeup. All right, so no, I just saw that all these blues players. It was cool, like all these different blues players I'd never heard of before. I can't believe how many of them are blind something. Like a ton of them are just blind, like blind Lemon Jefferson, but like blind something.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, did they go to the Crossroads and just get a bad deal, and went blind?
Or did they give up their sight to get famous?
Or did they go? Yeah, they could have given up their site to get famous. Yeah, that could have been the deal.
So if you're a witch or into the occult and you know this, email Liam and he'll
Please email
fill
me.
him in.
Inquiring minds.
You found it.
want to know.
Rob found it.
Tommy Johnson.
Tommy
Tommy
Johnson.
Johnson.
was the original.
The original guy.
Crossroads.
Oh,
All right.
wow.
I stand erected.
How did he die? Did it say like he died in a cool way?
I don't remember how he died, but yeah. So the Crossroads started with him,
Okay.
and Robert Johnson kind of
Followed up.
into his footsteps there.
Okay.
I'm gonna say something.
But you doesn't have to call me Johnson, you know.
I'm gonna say something controversial. I think Robert Johnson just tucked himself away for like a year and practiced. That's all. That's how I got it.
Nobody gets that good that quick. I don't care who you are.
He was getting booed off stage.
Yeah.
When he was playing, people were throwing stuff, begging him
Begging him to get off
to
stage.
get off stage.
Yeah.
And
He
then
was the Nickelback of the blues.
The
And
was
Nickelback
the
of the
worst.
worst.
then he became the best
He-
ever.
Awesome.
the absolute best. There's got to be something to that.
You know, they keep talking about that. I watch a lot of reels because, you know, well, like everybody else, I don't do
Reel-
TikToks. I
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
reels
reels, me too.
or Instagram reels, right? And there's all these guys talking about artists who've sold their soul, and the list rolls on. Then they do the Illuminati symbols and all that. You know, if it's not true, it's entertaining as hell.
True.
If it is true, it's terrifying.
Absolutely.
You know?
I think there's something to it.
All my reels are just basically something getting crushed by one of those industrial crushers. I don't know why. They just want me to see that over and over again. I love it.
I worked for a scrap yard, and we would put the cars in the crusher. And we do like 3 cars at a time, and it was pretty cool. You know, they didn't make them into a little cube, it just flattens.
Right.
Flatfish.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Liam would love that stuff.
Ah,
Yeah.
love it, love it.
But one time where somebody did it, they put the car in the crusher, and the crusher goes down, and they left a propane tank in the trunk.
No way.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun that day.
Wow.
Metal, boom, pressurized propane going off.
Oh,
We had a
wow.
fire every day there, right?
Imagine there was a meeting after that.
No, this place was the Wild West. I mean, so you put the car up in the jack, right?
Yeah.
A fork truck puts it on top of these 2 metal pylons that hold it up in place. And the first thing you do is you gotta drain a gas tank.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. So you take a pickaxe and you hit the gas tank and you push a garbage can underneath to catch the gasoline.
Wow. Holy
Right?
That's awesome.
crap.
And then you take another thing, and you hit the oil pan, and you put that under there. And then you do the radiator the same way.
Jeez.
And then you cut the battery out and all that crap, and then eventually you take the tires off, and you know, if there's a catalytic converter, you cut that out, and all that gets recycled. But you got all this gasoline lying around, and I'm working with these guys, and these guys are broncos. I mean, you know, they're their own brothers, uncles, husbands, all that stuff up there, you know. This is my wifster, my wife and my sister, you know,
That's
a lot
right.
of these guys. And they're like from, you know, the East Bumblefuck. And they're doing this with a cigarette hanging out of their mouth.
Of course.
yeah.
And at the time, I was a 3-pack-a-day smoker, and I'm like, no, no. We had a, like I said, we had a fire every day, and not a single fire extinguisher in the place worked.
Well, you know, gasoline isn't flammable.
No.
Just the fumes.
Just the fumes.
Just the fumes. Yeah. Or they're sitting there over the gas thing, the big gas bin, because they've drained probably, you know, 6 or 7 cars by that point, and they're cutting the catalytic converter out of a car with a sawzall,
Jeez.
and the sparks are flying, and you're watching them hit that thing. It wasn't worth the $15 an hour into the
No,
tank, I'll
no.
tell you that.
That's all.
Catalytic converters.
They're full of platinum.
Yeah, yeah, those are good.
But yeah, I mean,
Is there a meth head's dream?
and you know, the recycle the batteries and all that stuff. But it was crazy. Every day something blew up. Every fucking day.
That sounds like a wild place.
It got to the point where it was actually almost funny.
I mean, it sounds funny
Yeah,
and
you work-
dangerous.
I'd work from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. And if I got to my car at 1:05, I'd won.
Get combat
Right.
pay.
Yeah, it's like, you know.
Yes.
How are you still alive?
And this
Yeah.
place was crazy too, because the guy was so shady, right? On Thursday, we got paid on Friday, so on Thursday, I'd find as much aluminum and batteries and everything, drive it to another scrapyard
Mm.
to sell to them. So I bring the money back so he could pay us the next morning.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
That's shady as shit.
It was crazy.
That's shady.
That's,
Wow.
Well, we went far afield as usual.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
So next week we're going to talk about, well, is our Japanese sex dolls cheating?
Yeah, yeah. It's a good question.
I bit mine on the ass. My blow-up doll. She farted and flew out of the room. I don't know. That's an old joke. That's a dad joke.
That's a joke.
It's a dad joke that dad shouldn't tell.
And we are going to try to bring a Japanese sex doll here. We're not saying we will. We're just going to try.
We're going to try.
We're going to try.
Yeah, order one up. You're on the internet
I'll
all
order
the
one
time.
Yeah, you live under a rock. Nobody cares.
You know damn well I'm actually going to order up a blow-up doll, right?
Yeah.
And bring it in here next week.
That'll
Yeah.
be great. Oh, we'll get a Hannah Cortez shirt for it.
We actually, now that I say,
There
we
you go.
actually need a blow-up doll.
It can be proxy Jess.
Yes, yes. That would be good. Yeah, because I miss her.
Yeah.
I think Jess would see that and bust
No,
out
she might
laughing.
kill us, but it's worth
No,
a
I
shot.
think she would bust out laughing, actually. I
So,
think she'd like that.
Stay tuned for proxy Jess coming
Yeah,
to a.
proxy Jess.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube
Dude, if it's
channel.
hundreds of dollars for a blow-up doll,
Like,
I'm not doing
subscribe.
it.
Now, get
Share.
the cheapest one you
I get
can.
the cheapest
I mean,
one.
she lives in Waterford. How expensive can a doll of a Waterford woman be?
Oh my God. Pretty cheap.
Dude, we're going to be here for hours blowing it up. Jesus.
I just want to know where the blow-up tube is.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's an excellent question.
Is it like in Airplane? Remember Airplane, old movie, where she had to blow up the autopilot?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
yes.
was it right there? Yeah.
That was right there.
Where it belongs.
She had to Lewinsky the pilot to get him up there.
Nice.
Once
nice.
again, old reference. All right, everybody, thank you.
Thank
Peace.
you.